Gormaigad Cairug agus fáte go dtíanara is seo seachtain na Gaeilge, so cúpla foca Gaeilge. Minister, I'm glad you're in the chamber today as I highlight the urgent need to upgrade the national primary route, the N5, that is the Dublin Westport route, and particularly between the village of Tarmanbarry in County Roscommon and Ballahadreen in County Roscommon. Now, along this stretch, numerous accidents have occurred, and indeed there has been much loss of life over the past 30 years. Many of my constituents, and indeed many of the people along the route, have been lobbying me very, very strongly on this issue for a long period of time. We first crossed the River Shannon into the village of Tarmanbarry, a village that has grown hugely in recent years, and the volume of traffic coming through that village is highly significant. But the difficulty is much of that traffic is travelling at very high speed, and it is dangerous to pedestrians and cyclists and others in the village. We then moved about 8 miles up the road to a place called Scramogue Cross. It's a well-known landmark. And indeed, along this route there has been many accidents, almost weekly, and that is not an exaggeration, Minister. There are accidents along this route. It's a staggered crossroads. And coming through that national primary route, the N5, you have a major regional road. It's taking traffic coming from the north that comes up into Ballinamore, Carrick-on-Shannon, up into Ruski, crosses the N5 and travels down towards Athlone and maybe down south if it's going that way. It's a very, very busy junction. As I said, there has been numerous accidents in this location. It would not be an exaggeration to say that many people are scared to death driving through Scramogue Cross. It's a real death trap, and urgent attention is needed to address this situation. There are also major visibility problems in the village of French Park, and motorists take their lives into their hands on a daily basis trying to negotiate dangerous junctions on the main N5, while there are also accident spots near Tulse village, and remember there's a school located in that village as well. I have previously called on the Taoiseach to include the upgrading of the N4, that national primary route, between Mullingar, right down up to Donegal, through Longford, Sligo, into a motorway, and indeed the N5 between Scramogue and Ballahadreen. And it is essential that both of those roads, Minister, are brought into the capital programme for 2017, as they are vital infrastructural links to the West. It is vital to upgrade those routes as they have been severely neglected, and apart from the Galway, there is no motorway to most of the West or North West, where there is in excess of 500,000 people. I am calling for a clear commitment that the N4 and the N5 be included in the capital programme for 2017. The glaring omission of funding from the N4 and the N5 from the much-lauded rural revitalisation plan was only one of the problems with the plan. We see this in relation to rural Ireland, in relation to developing rural Ireland, that we must have both of those roads developed, first of all made safe, but developed to a proper structure. So I would appeal to you this evening, in your reply, deal first of all in the short term with the issues of safety, and in the long term, use all of your influence to both get the N5 and the N4 into the capital programme of 2017.
Thank you very much indeed, Giancola, and I would like to thank Deputy Murphy for the opportunity to address this important and very interesting matter. As Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sport, I have responsibility for overall policy and funding in relation to the National Roads Programme. The planning, design and implementation of individual national road projects is a matter for the Transport Infrastructure Ireland under the Roads Acts 1993 to 2015, in conjunction with the local authorities concerned. Ireland has just under 100,000 kilometres of road in its network, and the maintenance and improvement of national, regional and local roads places a substantial financial burden on local authorities and on the Exchequer. Because of the national financial position, there have been very large reductions in Exchequer funding available for roads expenditure over the past number of years. Within its capital budget, the assessment and prioritisation of individual projects is a matter in the first instance for the TII in accordance with the Section 19 of the Roads Act. As Minister, I have to work within the capital budgets included in the plan, and TII in turn has to prioritise works on the basis of the funding available to it. TII does allocate funding specifically for safety works based on its analysis of the network. This year, it has allocated about €17 million for such work. Under its HD15 programme, safety works are based on an analysis of accident density across the network, and those sections of the network with considerably higher than average accident densities are selected for analysis. Sections of road which are amenable to engineering solutions are prioritised for treatment. In addition, TII operates an HD17 programme based on road safety inspection reports. These reports indicate which issues, for example signing, lining or safety barriers, need to be addressed on different sections of road, and programmes are drawn up to deal with the priority issues. It should be noted that good pavements also contribute to road safety, and TII has allocated approximately €50 million for pavements in 2017. I understand that TII has recently completed a collision cluster analysis on the most recent 3 years of An Garda-Síochána collision data and have identified 4 sites on the N5 in Roscommon for further examination, 2 east of Tulsk and 2 east of French Park. Roscommon County Council will examine these sites over the coming months with a view to identifying if engineering solutions will improve safety at these locations. In relation to Scrammow Cross, a preliminary examination of the collision statistics for the N5 at this location does not indicate a collision cluster at this location. However, it may be the case that the road authority concerned, Roscommon County Council, has more up-to-date information available that indicates that road safety improvement measures may be warranted. In order for TII to fully consider any such proposals, the road authority is required to carry out an analysis of the collision history at the location in consultation with the local Gardaí. If a collision cluster is identified at the location that could benefit from an engineering solution, the road authority should design an appropriate scheme to deal with the safety issues identified, carry out an economic appraisal of the proposal, fully cost the scheme, prepare a feasibility report on the scheme, and prioritise the scheme in relation to other works being proposed at this time by Roscommon County Council. Roscommon County Council is proposing an N5 Ballatoureen-Scrammow Road Improvement Scheme, which I understand extends from the eastern end of the Ballatoureen bypass to Scrammow, a distance of some 33 kilometres. Given the limited funding envelope available under the plan and the primary focus on maintenance and renewal of the network rather than new projects, this scheme is not currently included as part of the plan. TIA has, however, provided an allocation of $700,000 to Roscommon County Council for the scheme this year to enable the planning process to progress, and I am aware that Roscommon County Council has recently completed a business case, environmental impact statement and compulsory purchase order documentation for the proposed N5 Ballatoureen to Scrammow Road project. All major capital projects are subject to the project appraisal requirements of the Public Spending Code, and my department's common appraisal framework for transport projects, as well as an Bord Pleanála planning consent process. In this context, a cost-benefits analysis for all schemes costing over £20 million is required as part of the business case for the project. I'm just finishing. Is that all right? In line with the project appraisal requirements, each CBA needs to be assessed by the Economic and Financial Evaluation Unit in my department and then reviewed by DEPA. The CBA for the Ballatoureen to Scrammow scheme has been submitted to my department for evaluation. If the CBA were to be found compliant with project appraisal guidance, a separate decision would be needed on the business case, which takes account of the availability of funding for the project. It is not possible at this point to indicate what the outcome of the project assessment process will be.
Minister, there's some positive news and there's some not good news in it, and I welcome the fact that we're looking at carrying out some works in terms of safety east of Tulsk and east of French Park, because I have no doubt that work needs to be done. And I welcome, you seem to be well appraised on the route, and I welcome that. You and your officials have done your work on it. But I must say to you again, the problem starts in Tarmanbarry village, just as you cross the River Shannon from Longford into Roscommon. That area has grown hugely in population in recent years, a very, very busy village. And the traffic in general obeys the rules, but there's a significant amount of traffic, particularly lorries, are flying through that village. And there's a huge fear in people's minds about serious accident, even death. And there has been some accidents there. Now I move on to Scrammow Cross, that well-known landmark. And I have to say it, and it has to be on the Garda records, there is weekly incidents there. Weekly incidents in terms of traffic coming off the regional roads. There has been issues there as it crosses over the N5. There has been people injured. And I was just thinking as you spoke there, I can recall I suppose, over 20 years along that route, at least 20 people losing their lives. 20 people, and it's probably higher than that. That is a significant loss of life. Now, while I welcome what you said in relation to some of the works that's going to be carried out, I'm going to ask you and your officials, and I'll take this up again with the Scammell County Council, to look again at Scrammo Cross, to look again at Tulse Village, very fast-growing village, school in the middle of the village, and also outside Strokestown where there are issues. And can I just say in conclusion, what has been done along that route, where there are very acute bends, I'm sure you're aware of these flashing lights, which indicate for motorists to slow down, go mile or whatever. They are very cheap to install, about 11,000 I understand. And in the short term, if we could have some agreement to actually install more of those lights, because definitely where they have been installed along that route, and I'll finish with this, Chairman, they have cut down the incidence of accidents along the route. They have definitely made motorists more aware, and I'm sure the Chairman himself has seen these operating. So I really ask you again, in the interest of safety, in the interest